Lovely dear Aquariuses, this is your horoscope for November 2024. November starts with new moon in your 10th house. This is amazing new moon to start November exactly in your 10th house. 10th house is the highest house in our chart. It's a house of career and social status. This is the house where we are visible to the whole world. What is your influence? What is your reputation? These things will matter during this new moon. Now, 1st November, this new moon will be supported by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of hard work and also dedication, discipline, responsibilities, and it gives this new moon a solid ground. Whatever you're going to start around this new moon related to your work, related to your career, will stay with you forever, my dear Aquarius, because Saturn is the planet of age. It will look through that those things that you're gonna start and begin 1st of November will have a long lasting effect. Now, new moon in 10th house will happen at 9 degrees, meaning those of you who are born 27th of January will be affected the most, plus or minus 5 days. This new moon is in your 10th house appearing, and Saturn will be in your 2nd house, house of income and earnings. So it might give you actually a new career path or a new job, offer, position in your current company, or a totally new sort of work somewhere else that will come with good salary also. But you have to remember here that you will have to work hard. Saturn is the planet of working hard, discipline, and responsibilities. And that job or position seems like will come with a lot of responsibilities to you because new moon is in your 10th house. It will rise your profile, your influence, your reputation, possibly to the whole world, but also, of course, responsibilities and your money together. Now, for some of you guys, it might be totally on a mental level because Saturn naturally rules your 12th house, and 12th house, all those subconscious mind things, all those things that are happen behind the doors. Now, it might be that you will be thinking a lot about social status, for example, your reputation, your influence, and your power. But Saturn here might give you quite a lot of new sort of thoughts how to handle that reputation or big influence that is at hand, for example, right now, or will come to you with this new moon. Now, new moon is happening in your 10th house. It's also about father's life. For some of you, if it's not about any achievements, reputation, or a new job, it might be about your father then or your boss. Then those people will have some changes that will affect you directly, meaning those people might have this sort of new achievements in their life. 10th house is all about prizes, nominations, titles. You might add up some title to your name or win a prize, for example, to get nominated for your achievements. So 10th house is the biggest, highest house of our zodiac. These were just examples. So whatever is happening in your life, it might be related to these topics, my dear Aquariuses. Now, for the most of the month, we have Pluto opposing Mars. This is a bit a tense aspect, which will be exact on 3rd November. Avoid 3rd November planning something important. It's a Sunday, but also I would suggest to avoid Monday, 4th November. Postpone everything until 5th November if possible. This is a not good aspect not in love and in business too. Now, Pluto opposing Mars, Pluto is in your 12th house and Mars is in your 6th house. Opposition is usually speaking to some relationship tension. It might be there is a tension between you and your coworkers, for example, or someone who work for you. For example, if it's not your colleagues at work, then it might be nanny at home, as an example, or someone under you who work for you. There might be some tension around that. Also, there might be tension between you and your doctors and someone who are far from you, someone who are influential, powerful, but living somewhere far, somewhere abroad. This could be the case too. Now, it might be related to your health situation. For some of you guys, then I would suggest you not to argue with your physician. Instead, try to consult other ones, for example. Now, there will be a bunch of other planets who will try to save that relationship. Neptune, Uranus, and Mercury, they will try to save them. And, universe seems like trying to give you hints to use your self-confidence and your wit, your originality to solve the problem between you and other person there, whoever is that. Now, sixth house is also all other competitors, enemies, and it might be that there is a tension between you and some opponents, like in legal cases, for example. But anyhow, those planets are trying to tell you, use your imagination, your originality, and your self-confidence to solve the problem. 4th November, we have big transit, Mars changing signs, moving into your 7th house. It's amazing time to host Mars because, Mars in 7th house gives quite a lot of passion to your current marriage. For example, if you're married, if you're not, then for your long-term partnerships in love or in business, it doesn't matter. But it's not about those who start dating recently. It's about those who are already long together. And Mars in your 7th house suggests giving a lot of passion, a lot of action, and a lot of things together to do with your spouse or your better half, or in your business, like signing a lot of deals that will stay long time, like a lot of errands with your business partners could be too. Now, Mars is a bit aggressive planet. It's a planet of war, and 7th house is a house of all other people, including enemies that you know face to face. And here, Mars might give you a bit of a, open tension, might make aggressive a bit your enemies too. So take good care how you communicate, with whom you communicate for the next 2 months, or even until next summer, because Mars will set to retrograde in December, so it will stay actually longer in this year 7th house. November 15, we have 2 big transits. Saturn, planet of work and responsibilities, going direct in your house of finances, earning money. Finally, Saturn, was retrograding since 29th of June, almost for the half year, and it was freezing, let's say. It was not so helpful. Whatever planet actually retrogrades, it means they are slowing down. They are not powerful. They are not full force acting, And when Saturn was freezed all this time in your 2nd house, it might have been some funds were freezed, some funds were delayed, some money were delayed, your income might have been frozen, or even like gotten smaller, because whatever Saturn touches, it makes it restrictive, it makes it non-achievable, and a bit of a smaller amount. So Saturn already transiting your 2nd house a year and a half, and it still has a year and a half to go. But here Saturn goes direct finally, actually giving you that hard work money. Let's say if you work hard, the money comes in. That's what Saturn is trying to teach you. And Saturn here is trying to teach you, take responsibilities of what you do and of your financial situation. If that was your issue a bit, then Saturn will be a harsh teacher here, because wherever Saturn is found in our chart, it's where we ought to learn lessons. And it might be through hardships, it might be through some lessons, and most importantly, taking responsibilities of your own actions and also inactions. Now, Saturn in your 2nd house, when it goes direct, it might finally move those financial projects or operations that you've been planning. It seems like while it was sleeping, you've been planning something, and now you can finally proceed with all those things. And here Saturn might give you a bit of self-confidence too. Then November 15th, we will see also full moon in your 4th house, house of home and family. Those of you who are born 11th of February will be affected the most by this full moon. This full moon is amazing one. I love this full moon because it has this element of surprise and shock, because full moon will unite forces with Uranus, planet of surprises and shock, but those surprises will be positive ones because 2 other planets will be sending supportive beams to that full moon in Uranus. Neptune and Pluto. These 3 are karmic planets. They are transformative planets. And it seems like whatever will be happening, those events are fated. Those events are destined to happen all of a sudden, by the way, because Uranus is the planet of surprise. You never know, with Uranus, what might come your way, but still, it will be positive one in this case, my dear Aquariuses. Now it's happening in your 4th house, so there might be some shocking news within your family, like someone getting married or someone getting divorced, it doesn't matter, or someone gave birth or someone is pregnant within your family. So you might get some news around that. For some of you, it might be about real estate. If it's not about family, then it's real estate. It could be that you might have an opportunity all of a sudden to buy apartment, or someone left an inheritance, for example, to you. It could be the possibility too. And Uranus is your ruler, you know how it can be shocking and surprising, some things in life. And in this case too, you might end up having a house or changing, or there might be some opportunity coming related to real estate that you won't expect, my dear Aquarius, or you might actually sell it. If there was some real estate, like a house or apartment that you couldn't sell, this new full moon has the power to, all of a sudden to solve you this issue, my dear Aquarius. Now, and it seems like you might also earn some money here. And that financial situation will be more than enough to support you. Or if you are like, you need for something like to buy an apartment, then finances will be fine here, suggested by Neptune. Or you might actually finish the deal of buying a house around this full moon, about which you will be so happy. And it might have been stuck, but Uranus comes in and will bring you this happy news, my dear Aquarius. Now, 4th house is also about immigration. You might immigrate. If that's not your case, family or real estate, then it might be about immigration. All of a sudden, there might be a news that your documents got approved. If that's your case, for immigration, for travel, whatever documents, needs to travel or relocate somewhere else, there might be an opportunity coming your way that will allow you to change the country that you based, to change where you call home, my dear Aquarius. November 19th, Pluto, the most probably one of the important transits of our century, and also for you, my dear Aquarius, because Pluto is changing signs and it's moving into your sign, my dear Aquarius, into your 1st house. Now, Pluto for the last 16 to 15 years was in your 12th house. And it was transforming your subconscious mind, giving you a lot of lessons about yourself, about your childhood traumas, about your spirituality, your spiritual growth, and who you are at core. Because 12th house is all that house that is private, and we might dig into ourselves a lot, trying to understand ourselves through, for example, spirituality, like astrology, meditation, retreats, yoga, all those things. Like you might have, become as an expert already since last 15 years. because you've been practicing those things. Pluto was giving you all that transformation to look into within yourself for the answers. But now when Pluto moves into your first house for the next 20 years, because that's how long it will stay in your sign, it will give you lessons of transformation, how to show your now outer, shelf, how to portray what is inside you into, your surrounding and into outside world, let's say. What kind of impression you leave on people, because first house is all our appearance. It might give you a lot of changes also in your appearance. Like some of you might actually lose weight, or vice versa. It might give you quite like deep transformations. And first house is all about our priorities and plans, and Pluto will make it more sophisticated here, my dear Aquarius. Now I will make a whole separate video on Pluto moving into your sign, so stay tuned on that. November 26th, we have Mercury going retrograde. Mercury is the planet of ideas, signing contracts, communication, and also commerce and trade. That's why during Mercury retrograde, meaning when it's slow, better not to buy anything related to technologies like phones, TVs, whatever is that, like laptops, because they might come with some issue, or you might just change your mind and not like it anymore or not need it anymore after you buy it. That's why during Mercury retrograde, better not to do that, because it rules commerce. And also it's advisable not to make any plastic surgeries or planned surgeries. If that is unplanned surgery, of course we do that and it's an emergency. But if you have a planned surgery, better to postpone it, because we need Mercury to be sharp for those things. And of course, not to sign important papers, because then that agreement might have something missing, might have something wrong, or you might re-sign it in the near future. And it's happening in your future house, this Mercury retrograde. A lot of old friends might come to visit you, for example, start contacting you back, because 11th house is a house of friendship, house of internet. You might hear from someone or about someone that you've been previously friends with, for example, because when Mercury retrogrades in 11th house, those people come back in our lives. Now, this was a horoscope for November, and stay tuned for that separate video of Pluto in your first house. Don't forget to check your rising sign and moon sign too. In many cases, rising sign is the strongest, but for some people it might be moon sign. So better to check all your 3 signs and compare which one is affecting you the most. I love you all. Bye bye.